Hello friends, welcome to another Monday mix-up. So today I have grabbed a combination of products and we are going to make a Hey Gnomie slider card. So last year Pink Fresh Studios came out with an A2 slider set that is really fun, and if you haven't seen this, you're definitely going to want to check out this video. So let's go ahead and switch the camera view and see what all we're going to use and what we're going to make today. All right, so here are the Hey Gnomie slider cards, and the reason these cards open like a regular A2 card, but they have a little hidden message because they slide up just like this. So it's really fun to make these, and I'll kind of show you all of them here, or both of the sets. This one's the Hey Gnomie one. It says I miss you, and then I thought on the inside I'm going to stamp let's get lunch, or let's get together soon, or something like that, just to write a note to maybe drop it to a friend that I haven't seen in a while. So this one is just like that one, just with a different background, and there you go. So all right, so today the one we're going to be making is this one right here with our little gnome. So let's set these aside and take a look at the products we're going to be using. So the star of the show is definitely this Pink Fresh A2 slider set, and it comes with 3 different dies in here, and I will show you what you need to die cut with this. Oops. This die right here is your actual piece that slides in and out, and it's got the little hole at the top. You need one of those in white. Then this larger die that goes around the outside, that is just your A2 measurement 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then this piece right here is your actual sliding mechanism, and you're going to need to cut that out twice, once in white and once in a different color. And you can really just pick whatever color you like. I've gone with reds, I've gone with orange, you know, I've got some yellows. You know, you can just pick whatever color you like. And same with your background paper, you just need a piece of patterned paper. So that's what we will need to die cut using the Pink Fresh slider set. So another item that you're going to need to recreate this card is a wood grain stamp. Now this one is from Stamps of Life, and I really like this one. It's a little larger. The one I used on the More Birds, that was, I believe, a Concord and 9th stamp, and that one's a little more rustic. This one's a little more playful and whimsical, and I think this went really well with our gnomes. So this is a fun die to have on hand. And the way we're going to use this one, whoops, let's see here. We're going to need to get a piece, oh, there it is. So you're going to need 1 sheet of white paper. And the way we're going to do this, I'm just going to open it up. And today I'm going to be using Catherine Pooler ink. So this is the icing on the cake ink pad. And we're just going to go ahead and put ink all over our stamp, and I'm just leaving the stamp right there on its plastic that it comes on. And now I'm just going to take my, I think I'm going to do it this way, and I'm just going to press all over really well. We actually need 2 sections of this. Go. There we go. And we're going to do this one more time. And I'll show you why. There we go. And so now I'm going to do the other side. And this one you don't need quite as big a space because we're just going to cut an oval out of this one. All right, so there we go. I'll go ahead and clean my stamp real quick so it's ready to put away. And I like doing these big stamps like this because when you pull these off of the plastic, sometimes it just causes that plastic to really roll up, and I kind of like just preserving that. I don't think I've ever taken that one off of its plastic. All right, so once we have our wood grain down like this, we need to come in with the over coffee. And I'm going to be using a large makeup brush for this. And we're just going to add some color onto our wood grain. All right, and you're going to do that to both of these sections. On one of them, you're going to want to add your color to the whole thing. In the other one, you can kind of just do a section of it like in the middle. So once you have this done, then you're going to die cut 2 pieces, one oval, and today I'm using a set of dies that came from Stampin' Up. I keep them on a board like this, but it's just 2 sets of ovals and they have matching scallops. So that's what I'm using to cut my oval and my scallop. But you can use whatever ovals you have. If you have like the Heartfelt Creation ovals and eyelets, really just, you can even use circles if you prefer. So one of these you're just going to go ahead and cut from here. And the other one, you're going to cut your second white piece, this one right here. So this is the cutting mechanism, or the sliding mechanism from our A2 slider card. You're going to want to do that in the wood grain. Okay, so this, whatever you're going to use as your outline, you're going to want to go ahead and die cut that in a solid color. And I went ahead and did mine in a yellow. All right, so once you have all those pieces ready to go, you're going to want to you're going to want to stamp a gnome. So there are lots of fun gnome stamps on the market right now. And for the one I'm using right now is from this Catherine Pooler set. That's really fun. It has so many cute images in here, and I just love these 2 little gnomes. But looks like I have this one right here, but really either of the gnomes. This one right here comes from, I'll show you a few other gnome sets that I've collected. Let's see, that comes from this set right here, which is a Stamps of Life gnome set, and I use these on some of them. That's actually also where I got the Hey Gnomie sentiment. Here is a set of gnomes that is from Photo Play. So they have some fun gnomes. In fact, they have gnomes for every holiday. Photo Play has some Christmas gnomes and spring, summer. So I'm not sure, these might be the Christmas ones, I'm not sure. Okay, and then I have this set, that's the mushroom set, and I have this, I have so much love for you. I actually use this sentiment on my card as well, but the mushroom set kind of goes along with the gnome and the wood grain. And then this fun one has some really cute gnome sentiments that I liked, and I used this one right here. I had to look online to find out the name of this one. I couldn't remember. I had taken it out of the package, and it didn't come from this company, but this company still sells it. It was called Akai or something, so I'm not sure. I could not find the original. I know it was green, and it was in green packaging. That's all I remember. So if anybody knows who carried this, I would love it if you let me know, but it doesn't say on there anywhere. So okay, then the last one. So once you stamp these in gray, we're going to go ahead and color them up, and I am just using some alcohol markers to color those. I'm using the new Olos, and I'll just show you how I did that. And I think we're going to use this little guy, so I will color him for you. And I started with my grays, and I start with my darker gray color, and I just kind of trace around his nose and kind of coming up from all his little the ends of his beard. I just kind of flick inward. Then I just come back with the lighter color and kind of do the same thing, just kind of adding some shading in there. For his little hat, I'm going to use these 2 shades of this pale color here. And I'm going to start with the darker shade, and this pen yesterday really let out a lot of ink, so I'm going to use it sparingly here. Because the Olo markers are a continuous flow, of ink. Sometimes if you hold it down for too long, all of a sudden you get just like a big blob of ink come out. So you have to watch for that when you use these. Okay. Then for his nose, I'm going to use 2 shades of this paler pink. And again, I'm going to start with the darker one. Then just come back with this lighter one. And I am going to do his little hands also. There we go. All right, then for his little shirt, I'm going to use, yeah, I'll just go ahead and use this reddish color. Or maybe I should use the orangey color. No, this one. This one right here. I'm going to use the R04 and the R03. So again, I'm going to start with this darker color and just kind of go around. I may just stick to the darker color. Just pretty much filling him in. Now I'm going to come back with the greens to kind of color in his little shorts. And the last color I'm going to use is the brown, and I'm just going to color his little boots in. Alright, maybe right there where the toe is, I'll put a little curve there and blend that out just a little bit. Okay, there we go. Simple and easy, just coloring up our little gnomes. And you can, of course, use whatever markers or pencils or whatever style of coloring that you like to do. You can color up your little gnomes, but that is how I did that one. Okay, so here are my 2 little gnomes. Now, to get the rest of the images, I did want to tell you on this one, this is how this one die cuts, but I wanted my dies to have the same outline, so I did come around and I trimmed the edges of this one. So that's something you can do if you have, you know, when you're using different companies, they don't all have the same style of die and the same outlines and things. So that's something you have to do sometimes when you're mixing up companies. And it's pretty easy to just fussy cut that and give that a more similar outline to the rest of my images. Pink Fresh has their images much closer outline than Stamps of Life. So that's something to watch out for when you are combining companies. There you go. Very fast and easy. I just cut that in half, and now the Catherine Pooler, also her dies cut much closer. All right, now the next thing we're going to need for our project today is our mushrooms. So I am going to grab a piece of paper here, and to get our mushrooms, you can use stamps if you have. Here is a die set from Stamps of Life that will die cut mushrooms for you. But for today, I am going to be using the Magic is in You stencil set that Pink Fresh Studios came out with. I just think these mushrooms and greenery, you know, you can get it all in at one time. And I'll show you what I really love about these. All right, so this is an A2 card, and these are sized to go right onto an A2 size. And I'm just going to tape down my, well, can't get my tape to fold. There we go. Going to tape this down just a little bit on there. And now I'm going to position my stencil and tape that down as well. I'm going to start with the over coffee and do my stems. And this is so fast and so easy. I absolutely love stenciling images like this because they have no outline when they're die cut. And I just think they're really fun. You can get some really beautiful blends. Now to clean mine, I just take this microfiber towel and rub over there while it's still taped down, and it is ready to go for the next time. There we go. Here's our next one. Whoops, I don't have that centered yet. There we go. And for this one, I'm just going to go with the over coffee. This is just to finish up the stems. I'm not going to do the whole thing for you, but I am going to do all of the mushrooms. But I have already die cut some, so the leaves are all done and everything. But that way you don't have to watch me stencil the whole thing. So there we go for that part of the mushrooms. And now we're going to do the top part of the mushrooms. There we go. So we're just going to line that up. And on all of these, there are little images down in the corner that help you line up your paper if you're doing an A2 size. Now to do my mushrooms, I'm going to start with It's a Girl. And I'm just going to do all of this one right here. All right, and I'm also going to do one side of that little one. The next color I'm going to come in with is Samba. And to do the Samba, I'm going to kind of add some shading here on this one. And then I'm going to also come in and do half of this one. So one thing you can do with these stencils, by using different colors, you can really blend. And I'm coming back with my It's a Girl just to kind of blend that out. And the next two colors that I'm going to come in with are the Tiki Torch and the Orange Peel. So with my Tiki Torch, I'm going to come in over here on this one. And I'm going to come back with my It's a Girl and kind of blend into that Tiki Torch. And then for the next one, I'm going to take this Orange Peel. And I'm going to blend into that Samba that I put on there before. And this just gives your mushrooms some fun variation to them. So when we do the big reveal, isn't that fun? I just think those are so pretty. So this is a really fun way to get your mushrooms. But of course, if you have dies, you can paper piece them and just whatever way you want to create your mushrooms. Now, if I continued on with all of these stencils, we would get all of the greenery as well. And when you go to die cut, and this is one of my favorite things that Pink Fresh Studios has done, the die cut and the stencil match perfectly. So once, if you did the whole stencil, you would be able to die cut all of it all at once, which is a fantastic way. So it really is a fast, efficient way to get all of your pieces. So all of my greenery was made that same way. And I will go ahead and show you the colors I used. I used the Mardi Gras, the Grass Skirt, and the Lime Ricky. So lots of colors. Now for the little rock that's down at the bottom, I used Twilight, which is what I stamped my gnomes in. And then for the little spots on the rock, I used the Over Coffee. So that's just so you know what colors I used. But of course, you can create yours in whatever color palette that you choose. Because that is part of the fun, right? All right. Move all my daubers up here. Now I have gone ahead and done this in advance and cut those out. So I will show you the ones that we are going to use. So here's two of my little mushrooms. And here is some of my greenery. Whoops, got a piece of tape stuck on me. Okay, and then here is my little gnome that we're going to use for this card. And for this card, instead of using the large Hey Gnomie from the Stamps of Life set, which I did use on two of them, I chose this little sentiment right here that says, "Make no mistake, I think you're great." So I just thought that was a really fun sentiment. And then on my hidden message part, that is where I used the one from the Stamps of Life that says, "I have so much love for you." So it kind of, you know, uses the gnome pun, and it also uses a mushroom pun. So in my hidden message on the inside, I used this one. All right, so now that we have all of our pieces, let's go ahead and put our slider card together. So we will need an A2 card base. Go ahead and get that ready. And this slider is so easy to put together. You have your base piece and your little slider piece. You can kind of set those aside. And now we have our two mechanism pieces. And the way we're going to do this is I am going to take the red one and I'm going to go ahead and score it here, or fold it there where the very top dotted lines are. And then I'm going to come in with my scissors and I'm just going to cut right on that dotted line that I folded. Now, you don't have to do this step. This is just if you want to give multiple colors to your slider, which I did, so that is why I did this step. Okay, so I'm just cutting this one off. You can save it and use it on a different slider to change the colors. Like if I wanted to, I could do it this way, but for today, I'm going to do it this way. So now, before we glue it down, I am going to want to fold it. And in the middle one, you're going to make a mountain. And then the other two, you're just going to fold it back like that. So this is the look that you want to have. It's this middle one is a mountain, and then just go ahead and crease the other two. So once you have that, then you can put it back down. For this piece right here, I did come in with the Samba and ink around the edges. And now I'm just going to glue it down on top of the wood grain one, making sure that I don't get any glue that's going to get onto my mechanism there. We don't want to do anything that will hamper it from sliding. So when you put it on, you want to make sure you get it lined up. And hopefully I did. There we go. All right. All right, now to add our next piece, you're going to turn it over and lay it flat down. Oops, here we go. Okay, you're going to turn it over, and right here at the very bottom, we're going to add a little strip of glue. And you don't want it to get too close to the edges because you don't want it to accidentally ooze over and get on your frame at all. Now you're going to take this piece, and when we lay it down, you want to make sure that it's equal width between the other two and that it comes just to the bottom of your piece down here, like your door. And I'm going to press that down. And our slider mechanism should work just fine. So once this is, whoops, sorry, I'm out of the camera. So that's all you do to get your sliding mechanism to work. And I will do it for you from the side. And it's going to be easier to see once we get it attached to the base piece. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So to do that, you're going to need some foam strips. And I'm just using these. I purchased these at scrapbook.com, I believe. And you can get them in bulk there, which is really nice. And you're just going to put one down each side. And you're going to put two along the bottom. You just want to make sure that it does not touch your slider piece. Okay. So I think I want to do this one first. So you're going to put two along this base. Now, go all the way to the top. All right, just like that. Okay, and now, if you wanted, for both of my, now we're going to add this right on here with the tape. Now, if you wanted to add your sentiment on the inside, your sentiment that goes right here, if you want that to be on another piece of paper and then glue it down, you're going to want to double up your foam so it's taller. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave my sentiment. You can see I stamped it straight onto the paper, and I did that so nothing hampers my sliding mechanism. if you have another piece of paper glued right there, it's going to hit. So you're going to need to use 2 levels of foam if you're going to do it that way. Now on this one, I did put it on another sheet of paper, and I'll show you how I got over that problem of it catching. But you do want to keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all the papers, and then we're just going to center it here on our card. Okay, so once we get that on like that, we're going to go ahead and add our A2 backing piece to the front of an A2 card. Oops, crooked there. Okay, so once we have it like this, we can set our base aside, and we're going to create our little gnome scene that's going to go on the front. So for starters, I'm going to start with this piece right here, and before I go any further, I want to take my icing and the darker brown that I used and just go around the edges of my circle. If you wanted to, you could have done that on this piece as well, but you're not really going to see that one as much. But this piece, I thought it looked a little unfinished without the edges done. So I'm just going to come around and do that. And now we're just going to add this piece. So tell me in the comments, do you like making interactive cards like this? I always think it's fun to do some interactive pieces. Now, you can arrange your images however you would like. I started with my greenery in the background. And I just glued those straight on. And then for my mushroom and for my little gnome, I went ahead and popped those up a little bit. Okay, I put my mushroom down first so that my gnome will be standing in front of the mushroom. So if you want your gnome in front of the mushroom, you need to put your mushroom down first. Now for my little gnome, I can put his, you want to be careful where you put his foam if you're going to have him leaned up against your mushroom. So that his hat is just going to have a little bit of glue on it because it's going to be on the mushroom. So I like to hold this straight and try to get his feet kind of down at the bottom of my card. There you go. Okay, now the next thing I did was go ahead and add the rest of the greenery and this other mushroom off to the side. And I think I'm going to try to see if I can tuck that under. Yeah. And then this mushroom, I did not pop him up, I just glued him down and I tucked him right over there on the other side. All right, now when you do die cut your mushrooms out, it has all these little pieces of white circles and stars and little diamonds and things, and those are to decorate your mushrooms. So I have a little cup over here that I have placed those pieces in. So I'm just going to add a few little dots right here and then come in and add some of those decorative dots that we have here. Okay, let's see if I got enough. Hopefully my hair is not in the camera. There we go. Okay, I have a lot of glue kind of coming out around them, so hopefully that Right, there you go. You can kind of see how I decorate that. And I don't think I put one on this one. I didn't want to overdo it with the dots. Okay, before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and take my first sentiment, and I'm going to glue it right here on that bottom third of our mechanism. It's very important that you don't put any of your decorations over those dotted lines. So whatever you put, you want to keep it in that section. Now this one will go over that section, but we're only going to put our adhesive right here on this middle section between these two dotted lines. And I'm going to do that with a chunk of foam tape. And I'm going to keep my foam tape centered above my sentiment and put it right there so that all of it is in that section. Then I'm going to take my little gnome piece, and this bottom of my scallop I want to put right at that fold, that dotted line. Okay, and now if everything has been done correctly, he's going to slide up just like that. So I will do that from the side so you can kind of see how that slides right up. So you don't want to put any adhesive on these two sections or that won't be able to slide. Okay, so now to do our sentiment on the inside, there's two ways that you can do this. You can certainly take your stamp block, which I had one ready, and put your sentiment right there on your stamp block and just stamp it right down in there. Or if you're wanting to have it on another piece of paper, show you how I did that. You want to have your paper cut long enough so that it slides up and under this section. You see what I mean? And you don't want it to be too long that it sticks out the top, but you want that to be in there so that it's higher than where this goes, so there's nothing it can catch on. So that is how I added my mushroom sentiment. And I found to make sure I get it in the right spot, it was easier to stamp it here. Now, if you wanted to use a MISTI or something like that, you could, but you need to hold it in there and make sure you're getting it on the right place. So rather than do all that measuring in advance, I found it to just be easier to wait until I had it all put together and then stamp it in there. So let me grab my sentiment that I'm going to use. And I'm going to put it right here on my stamping block. And this stamping block does have the little lines, so I can make sure that I have it straight. And I'm going to stamp that in the green grass color. And then I'm just going to put it down in there. Make sure I have a nice, good impression. And there you go. So the final thing to finish off this card is to take a piece of ribbon and I'm just using this thin ribbon. You can also use twine. I believe on one of them I used a little twine, but I think I like the ribbon a little bit better. You can see how I have the ribbon piece right here. I like that a little better, but you take your ribbon and you fold it in half. Pull this out, and you're going to put the curled part right through the center of the hole, like this. Now you're going to take the two tails and put it up through the loop and pull it tight. All right. Then to finish that off, I'm just going to take my scissors and cut it to the length that I want it. All right. And that way now if you wanted to, you could stamp pull here or something like that. I didn't do that. Hopefully the recipient will know to do that. Now something else you can do is, stamp some images right here. We could stamp some more mushrooms or anything like that to decorate this piece. I didn't do that on these cards, but I have done that before. So here are our mushroom cards. Make some room here. Look how fun these are to make. I just made multiple of these, and I just think they're so fun and colorful, and I think whoever received these would enjoy that little surprise message that's inside. So, hey Nomi, I miss you. That's one. And this one is, make no mistake, I think you're great. I have so much love for you. So there's some fun. Now on this one, I did come back with a Wink of Stella pen, and I colored up his beard and the mushrooms just to add a little bit of glitz on there. So that's something you can do if you want to add a little more to these cards. So, all right, I hope you enjoyed this kind of playful gnome card and learning how to put together the Pink Fresh's A2 slider. So I'm going to go ahead and change my camera around. Thank you so much for joining me on this Monday mix-up. I've enjoyed creating with you again, and until next time, continue to create for the fun of it. All right, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.